Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Simgot EW200. It costs around $40 and it's still your usual classic single DD driver, which pretty much every all of $20 IEM are like just that configuration, so it's not that interesting. But I think the quality on these are pretty good for drivers, but that's for future for later parts. But so yeah, the reason I ordered these are obviously they were really hyped. Like these are the best price to performance ratio. And today we're gonna see if that is true. Okay, as you can see, it comes with this box. It's a similar size to the Truth ear gates if you have one. So it's not that big. The comparison to my shitty broken iPhone, it's around this size if you can see it. So it's not that big. But yeah, that's not the point of it. But yeah. So when you open the box, it looks like this. And you slide it open. Then you can see the IEM here. I don't have it here, but so yeah. You get the IEM. Then inside this box, you get the cable and the paperwork that you don't care. And you get this interesting accessories, which is a pouch. I think the pouch is really high quality. I'm not gonna use it because I have a hard case, so I don't like using these. They don't protect anything and they don't prevent anything, whatever. But the quality on these are pretty good. Like I like the texture of it. And the main disappointment of this set is the ear tips, but it's $40, so I think it's pretty great considering that you also get great cables. But yeah, the ear tips on these are not that great. So I would recommend getting a different ear tips or not if you can just use them. But yeah, I don't like using stock ear tips either way, so that's what's in the box. Okay, let's talk about the IEM itself, and let's start with the cable. These cables are pretty nice. They're not really tangly. Oh man, I'm not proving my point there, but yeah, they're not tangly. It's pretty fucking good for $40 actually. They're insanely good for $40. Comparing to the other IEMs, that's around like below 100. Hexas cables are not great in my opinion. They're okay. These are like twice better, even though they're like half the price. But that's just my opinion. It's just that they're really good, but the looks of these are not that great, I think. If you're not a fan of like a dull orange bronze looking cable, it doesn't look like that in the camera, but it's like a dull bronze color. So yeah, if you don't like it, sucks to suck, but the cable quality on these are pretty decent. Really fucking good. Now let's talk about the IEM. The IEM itself is a metal shell, which is impressive for $40. Considering Simgot's like the more cheaper model is a plastic and double the price and you get metal shell, it's insane. Like I think it's actually pretty unique for $40 that you get a metal shell. It's not that common. And you can see the engraving here. It has that. I think also have, yeah, there's the hole and another hole in the back, I think. No, that's not it. But yeah, there's two holes in it. I don't know. I don't remember where it is. Yeah, I don't know I don't remember where it is, but I'm sorry, but I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, the quality on these are great, except one thing, but I don't think this is Simgot issue. And I think it's the seller issue. So I just want to have a small rant on the seller that I got it from. It's called Nice Lucky, I think. Fuck, I've been arguing with them for a week. I've been asking for like a partial refund cause as you can see in the camera, actually you cannot see it, but there's like a smudge in there. And it looks like rust. And they're arguing this is standard. I've looked at the internet. This is not standard, I think. So, small rant continuing. And I also received the box looking like this. So I'm pretty sure these are refurbished set and they sell it brand new. And we keep arguing until even now. So they're wasting my time. I'm also wasting their time. So I guess it's sucks to suck. So if you're buying IM, don't look at the reviews of the seller. I usually do that, but this time around, considering they had like 98% review, like rating, I thought they were fine. But no, even though they have a high rating, look at the 1 star review so that you will know how the seller actually work in terms of a issue. So yeah, that's a huge tip if you're buying from AliExpress. But it's not. I just want to have a rant on these because it's this set that had this issue. So if you're buying from AliExpress, look at the 1 star review so that you would know when issue arises. You would know how would they deal with issues. So yeah, my set was unluckily had a rusting on the naming. Yeah, you can see it there actually. There you go. Like that looks like rust. It doesn't look rust on the camera, but in person it looks like rust. Either way, it's imperfect, but that's just outside of Simgots. It's a seller issue. But in terms of build quality on these are pretty fucking great. Metal shelling, they're really comfortable too. The comfort on these are on par on the gates, not gates, the this one, Salnode Zero. So yeah, they're pretty comfortable. I think they're also fine on the small ears. They're a little bit heavy. So if you don't like heavy IMs, don't buy this because it's a metal shelling. I think if you're buying a metal IM, I think it's just given that they're gonna be a little bit more heavy than usual. Obviously, the next one we're talking about is the sound. How do these sound? Well, I'm gonna say it first. These are bright IM, so if you cannot handle bright tuning, thank you so much for watching and see you guys on the next video, I guess. But let's start with the bass. I would say the focus on the bass for these is the sub bass. Even though they don't have too much, it's just a little bit pronounced in a good way. So the sub bass is rumbly, the mid bass is punchy, not punchy, thumpy. So even I expected a lot of new IMs in this 2025 is that all the bass gonna be are punchy, but I didn't expect that it would be thumpy. But it's not bad. It just complements the tuning really well too, because you have more you have more rumbliness. So making this mid bass thumpy really complements that rumbliness, and it doesn't bleed into the mids, which is also one of the great thing about this IM is the mids, where the vocal is forward. The instruments on these are fantastic too. Like you can hear separation, especially the details are on these are great for like instruments. Yeah, the instruments on these are really great. Soundstage is also fantastic. Like I'm so used to like in your ears, but this has a more soundstage than the $20 IM, so it's a great upgrade path to test on higher range stuff. So yeah, male vocals is not recessed. It's actually also vocal forward. Interestingly, so if you like vocal IMs or like vocal forward IM, these are great contender for that. Like the mids on these are addicting too. And lastly, the biggest issue on a lot of people is probably the treble. And I would say it, they're really bright. Even for me, they're really bright. I don't listen to these in a higher volume. I'm usually a lower volume kind of person. Like I listen to a lower volume than normal people, I think. So the treble on these are like uh more like more emphasized, but they're not sibilant. I was expecting to them to be really sibilant, but they're not. Like I actually I before I bought these, I ordered these. In my mind, they will be really, really like sibilant, tinny, but no, they're tuned in a fantastic way actually. For even though they're like treble forward, but they're not sibilant. So it just makes the listening on the instrument, like I said earlier, make it really enjoying. Like you hear the symbols pronounced, but it's not like painful. So maybe if you want to try brighter IEM, these are great contender for that too. That's not sibilant. Well, they're still sibilant. You still have the bright sibilant thingy, but they're not more sibilant than I expected. Okay, I wanted to add this info on my use case because I think these are like unique in terms of that. Usually I don't add them, but yeah. So my use case on these are like lower volume. I don't use them at higher volume. I cannot use them at higher volume. If I use them at like my normal listening levels, I will be stop using them around like 30 minutes later, maximum. Usually 15 minutes I would lower the volume, or like even 5 minutes I would just lower the volume because they're really fatiguing. Even though I like bright tuning, but these are so fatiguing in my ears for some reason. So if you're like a like high volume listener, I wouldn't recommend these. And they're also easy to drive, so it makes the problem a little bit worse. Because I have to lower the volume, because uh, they're fatiguing on higher volumes, but I need to lower them even more because they're so easy to drive. They're so much easier to drive than these, the SoundCloud Zero, which is interesting. Like they're same drivers, but yeah. So I wanted to add that in the video. So all in all, I'm really impressed on the like sound quality aspect of these. Even the build is actually fantastic. $40 you get a metal shell. That's insane. But yeah, in terms of tuning, that's whatever. I don't care about that for now. But in terms of like price to performance, in terms of technical detail or like sound quality, is absolutely fantastic. It's really hard to compete around that. So yeah, these I agree. These are like one of the better price to performance IEM in the market right now, and you can also get them on sale for like around 35. So yeah, it makes them much more better around 35. Like these are must buy at around $30 even, and you can just EQ probably to make them to your preference. So yeah, that's it for the sound aspect of it. And next we're gonna be comparing a similar tuning IEM that's half the price. I don't have a similar tuning IEM that's in the same price range. I have another one, but I don't think they're similar enough, and I don't have money to waste more money like to like compare it. Yeah, so these are so I'm doing this comparison for like an upgrade path reason. And first we're gonna be talking about the SoundCloud Zero, and I'm gonna say it first. If you're buying these, if you're interested in buying these, please buy a different cable and put the old cable in the trash can. So yeah, these are the original Zero, not Zero 2. This is the original one. Yeah, and the other one is Truth Ear Gates. I love the cable on these, but the sound on these are subpar. But that doesn't matter in terms of that. We're gonna be talking about on the sound quality itself. In terms of bass, in terms of bass, I think it goes like this. In terms of like bass quantity, these has no bass. These has like in the middle. These has more bass than these. But I would say the bass quality I would prefer this one. It has a better like bass quality in general. Well, these has no bass, so it kind of fixes the issue of these. These like so it's a direct upgrade for that. And these has less controlled bass, but they have more bass. So if you like more bass, then maybe get these. But in terms of quality, yeah, these are the winner. Now let's talk about the mids and the mids portion. Actually, I'm just gonna remove this because I don't like listening to this after the bass part. Because I'm gonna be honest, the only reason I buy Truth E gates is that it's the cables, literally the cables. But in terms of sound quality, I think it's subpar. It's just okay. So these are no competitions. So I'm just gonna remove them. And let's compare it to these one that actually competes that well. These are just subpar. So shoo, shoo, boo. And finally, we can actually start with an actual comparison in terms of sound quality. We already talked about the bass. This has no bass. This has more and better bass. No questions. How about the mids? Even the mids on these are just better quality. This has less vocal forward. This is more vocal forward. Even the male vocal is more pronounced compared to these. So if you like vocals, then yeah, these are great sets. Then lastly, the treble. I think these are more sibilant, but this has more treble though. So these are less fatiguing for me. These are even more fatiguing. So yeah, it's a direct upgrade. It's a, in my opinion, they're like 2 times better, but with a caveat of they're more fatiguing because it's bright IEM tuning. So I already said that earlier in my review that I listen to the low volume. If I listen to low volumes, then yeah, I would use them. I would use these a lot more than these. But if I listen to a normal listening range, I would use these, unfortunately. Like I tried. I really tried listening in a normal listening volume, but I just couldn't. And I already listen at lower volume. So yeah, in terms of upgrade, $20 to 40, these are like clear upgrades. You get better cable, metal shell, and more bass, better mids, and even more higher quality treble. Is that a plus for is that a positive for you? That's for you to decide, but for me, these are direct upgrade with a caveat of being more fatiguing. And lastly, we're comparing with RDT10. Apparently, this has love or hate in terms of look. I'm in the camp of I like it, but that's besides the point. The reason I'm comparing these two is that these are around $50 usually with an asterisk. Technically, these are $70 IEM, but you can get them around 50 most of the time. If these are $70, then they're out of the picture. Since they're like around similar, just $10 more expensive, I started to compare them. And in terms of build quality, I feel like it's a preference thing. Some people can argue these has better cable, these has worse cable. I prefer the cable on these. So it's a preference thing, and I don't care about metal shelling, but if you want more like I guess more sturdier, then yeah, these are better in terms of like being sturdy. These are plastic, so it's like they're like equal. I would say just they're equal. And we can finally compare it to the sound. Well, tuning wise, they're not the same. I think these are more U-shaped, but let's talk about it in more in detail. So the bass is weird because these uses a planar IEM. So even though technically they have more bass, they don't have the like the rumbliness of a dynamic driver that you get from these. So even though they're more bass, they're like really clean and fast. There's no decay. So I think you just have to listen to a planar IEM to understand what I'm talking about. Even though technically they have more bass, at the same time they don't feel more bass because how clean the bass sounds. So in terms of bass, it's a preference thing. Again, the bass on these are rumblier. It has decay. The bass on these has no decay. It's quick, tactile, fast. It's punchy. So yeah, I like both of these. Or like I like planar bass, but I also like the DD bass because sometimes you kind of like that decay on the bass. So yeah, the bass part is a preference thing. Technically, this has more bass, but it doesn't sound like it. But these definitely have more sub bass. That's for sure. These has more sub bass. These are more punchier mid bass. These are thumpy. So it's a preference. I feel like there's so many just preference thing on these, like around these two. But how about the mids? Mids on these two, I feel like these are just neutral, like just flat neutral. Like just more neutral than these two. So I prefer the mids on these because it's more vocal forward. Those are vocal forward is my preference. Even though I'm gonna spoil it, I'm gonna review them later. I These are my favorite sets. The only thing I don't like about these is that they don't have more vocals. So if these has more vocals, these are just like 10 out of 10. But in terms of mids, I prefer these. Yeah, I prefer these. It has it just has more vocal forwardness. I think in terms of detail, these are technically better, a little bit better. But I really have to like really focus to my ears to hear the difference in terms of like detail quality or like quality of the drivers. So in terms of that, they're equal. The difference that these are more vocal forward, these are in the neutral range. And lastly, the treble. Well, treble wise, I prefer these. These are less fatiguing. These are just fatiguing. So I use these more, unfortunately. These are more fatiguing. Even though, in terms of treble, these are more sibilant. These are not sibilant. So, even though they're more painful to my ears because of the sibilance, I prefer listening to these because I can listen to these in a more higher volumes. Yeah, these are less fatiguing, even though these are really fatiguing too for normal people. I like bright IEMs. So yeah, these are more or less fatiguing, more sibilant, but I prefer these. Yeah. So lastly, there's an interesting like a combination around these two. These are easier to drive, but I could not listen to them at higher volumes. Okay? Then on RTT10, these sound better on higher volumes. Well, you can kind of argue that in terms of volume, like when you listen to a higher volume, it makes the IM sound better. Yeah, that's true. But I think these are more true for that part. It just makes it sound more better if you listen to higher volumes. I don't like that. I don't like listening to higher volumes. So I still listen to a lower volume, but I can definitely agree that these are sounding better at higher volumes. But the problem, you need more volume. Like you need more power to power these. like Like they both have the negatives. Like what the hell? So, yeah. To recap, these are easier to drive, but I cannot listen to a higher volume. These are harder to drive, but I prefer listening to them at higher volumes. Like what the hell, man? Like it's an interesting comparison. But in terms of technical detail, I think these are better. Just a little bit better, but you really have to focus to your ears to really like just hear the difference. I mean, I think that sounds true around $100 to $200 IEMs. Obviously, they're bad ones, but I think in terms of like detail parts or like sound quality, it just it just becomes more around tuning and the driver quality. But yeah, around these $50, $40 range, like these are like equal. If you can EQ, I think these are better. At the same time, not because of the planar bass. This has the DD bass. So all in all, they're just equal to my ears. Brighter, more balanced, more well-rounded I am. And now for the conclusion. Would I recommend these? Yes and no. If you like brighter tuning, and yes, if you want to try bright IEM. I genuinely think that these are the best price to performance ratio, around $40 IEM. If there's one, please leave a comment down below. Then maybe I would review them. But right now, in terms of price to performance, these are better because they're 40 and these are 50. If they're same price, these are better. But yeah, these are like equal in terms of like price to performance. But since these are $10 more expensive, I would give the best of price to performance ratio to these IM. Like if you can EQ them to your like liking, then yeah, these are fantastic value. It's really hard to compete with a metal shell, good cables. It has a pouch. The only bad thing about it is the ear tips. So you might have to tip roll. You have to change the ear tips. But if you don't care about ear tips, then yeah, these are the best price to performance. These are really great. Like, it's really hard because I know there's cadenza. Is it cadenza? The kiwi ears, but I heard them in the demo and I don't think they were that impressive in terms of like sound quality. Like these are just so much better in terms of that. So yeah, that's my that's my recommendation. These are the best $40 price to performance IEM, and don't buy them if you don't like bright tuning. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys on the next video, guys. Bye bye. See ya.